back Trey Harris had negative 44 yards, and Unique Heggie had negative 1. Roselle Wade had 0. Harris did have a good half throwing the football. He was 5 of 8 for 56 minutes. 56 yards, I should say. Got a little complication here as the halftime clock was adjusted incorrectly, it looks like, and that's affecting how the band performance because they have to have enough time, and now everybody's rushing around to make sure that everything's done. I didn't explain that clearly enough here. There has to be enough time for the band to get their performance in, and they wound up putting 18 minutes on the clock, but the presentation to Coach Moser and Stone Edwards took about 9 minutes, and the band has been working all week on this halftime show, so they have to have the requisite amount of time to get all of it in. Otherwise, a week's worth of work goes by the boards. And you have no idea how mad a band can get if they don't get enough time to wind up getting all that they want to get in on game night, because game night is just as special to them as the players themselves on the football field. All right, first half, Peyton Wilson winds up with the touchdown on a punt return. Orange started this game by returning the opening kickoff 81 yards for a score. 81 yards not for a score, but Monte Beasley nearly scored on the opening kickoff. Beasley would go on to score as he plunged it in from 1 yard out after returning the opening kickoff all the way to the Webb 9-yard line. That made it 7-0 Orange just a minute and 12 seconds into the game after a 3-and-out by Webb. It was a 59-yard touchdown drive by the Panthers. It ended with 2 passes. Thrown by Jackson Schmid, one for 10 yards to Ryan Evans, and then another 8-yard pass that went for a touchdown from Ryan Puckett. Orange had 4 receivers in the first half catch passes from Jackson Schmid, and the Panthers led 14-0 with 5:06 remaining in the first quarter. Webb had another, they didn't have a 3-and-out. They got a first down on their next drive, but ultimately they would punt. Orange would get another touchdown. This one, a 61-yard drive that ended with Jackson Schmid throwing to Kendall Whitted on a fade in the left corner of the end zone down to the west end of the stadium. That's headed toward the woods for those who don't know it, or those who do know it. 19-yard touchdown pass, and Kendall Whitted makes his 4th touchdown catch of the year. That made it 21-0 with 20 seconds remaining in the first quarter. In the second quarter, Orange's offense wasn't quite as efficient, but they did get a special teams touchdown, 38-yard punt return for a touchdown from Peyton Wilson. And Orange, after the extra point by Francisco McKinley, made it 28-0 as the Panthers look to complete their first undefeated regular season in modern school history. Well, next week, we don't know where we're going to be, but hopefully it's really going to come down to if the News and Observer signs me, and I do some side work for the Raleigh News and Observer along with 42 other various employers, and hopefully they will sign me over to Northern Vance so I can call the Cedar Ridge Northern Vance. I'll be most interested in. Neither team is going to the playoffs because both teams unfortunately wound up getting caught in the middle of the rule where if you wind up getting 3 players thrown out of a game because of a fight, then you are barred from the playoffs, and unfortunately that happened with Northern Vance in week 2 and with Cedar Ridge in week 3. And so while neither team will play for the playoffs, they will be playing for winning seasons. And hopefully we'll have that game next week right here on HillsboroSports.com. Well, let's see here. If we can find some scores going on around the area. Shane, would you like to come aboard and join us for second half? Guess not. They want me to do all the talking here. Okay. Shane's not even listening. Let's take a look. I'll have to go ahead and I'll tell you what. Why don't I do this? Why don't I just send you to a commercial? You can hear from our great sponsors, and I will start tweeting out scores and see if I can find some other scores from around the area. Deal? Deal. Orange is up 28-0 on HillsboroSports.com.
Carolina Hilltopper Foundation is helping to expand the game of lacrosse in North Carolina. Through their efforts, several local middle school programs have been able to join the lacrosse world, and travel teams have produced 8 Division I players and many Division II and III players, including several Orange and Cedar Ridge players enjoying successful collegiate careers. The fall season isn't far away. To register, visit hilltopperlax.com.
Our vehicles wind up in accidents from time to time, but where should you go if the exterior of your vehicle is damaged? Look no further than the folks over at Cardin's Body and Paint Shop, located at Highway 157 in Caldwell. For over 30 years, William, Greg, John, and Dennis have been taking care of the people in Caldwell and their vehicles whenever they've been caught up in a fender bender. So contact the folks at Cardin's Body and Paint Shop if your car winds up in an accident. Call 919-732-6611. That's 919-732-6611.
The Deer Pushers Association of America is a group dedicated to raise funds in support of educational programs, wildlife habitat enhancement and acquisition, and the preservation of the shooting sports and hunting tradition for future generations. They serve Northern Orange, Southern Person, and all of Central North Carolina. To learn more about the Deer Pushers Association of America, contact Skinny Laws or Seth King directly. The Deer Pushers Association of America, killing tomorrow's trophies today.
Count on the experts at Goss Pump Specialists for all your filtration system and well pump installation needs. Goss Pump Specialists has been serving Durham and surrounding areas for over 65 years. They install all types of well pumps and filters, including reverse osmosis systems. They also sell, install, and service a complete line of quality water softening and conditioning equipment, including chemical-free filters. Mention this ad, and you'll get $50 off your next project. Call Goss Pump Specialists at 919-477-3222. That's 919-477-3222. Or go online at gosswellpumpspecialists.com.
You know how you're getting old? It's when the marching band that is comprised of juniors and seniors start playing Radiohead as if it's a throwback song and Creep, and you actually remember that song when it was in its prime, and that's how we know that's now a song that it's showing that you're showing your age. I'm Jeff Hamlin here with you. In fact, that's what the Orange High Marching Regiment Band just did, a very beautiful rendition of Radiohead's Creep. Hope you're doing well here tonight. Orange is doing well. They're up 28-0 here at halftime. The Panthers look for its first ever undefeated regular season in the last 30 years. Orange took control of this one early. As we mentioned, Marvante Beasley returned the opening kickoff of the game 81 yards. Beasley returned it all the way to the Webb 9-yard line, and he would wind up scoring a 1-yard touchdown plunge. Orange did give up some yards, though, in the first half. And keep in mind, in 8 out of 10 games this year, the opposing team has not had over 100 yards total offense. They've been held below 100 yards. Right now, Webb is at 50, they're at 60, and let's see, 60. So right now they're at 52 yards. So they're halfway home. And they had one very efficient drive late in the half that ended because of a couple of Panther sacks. One by Peyton Wilson and one really by Stone Edwards. It was Stone chasing the quarterback Trey Harris out of bounds to the far sideline. Nice rendition by the Orange Marching Band. Now, okay, here's the Rush Roulette. We'll see who can get this here. And you'll get a $10 gift card to Jay's Chicken Shack if you can get this. And folks, you can listen in here on Spreaker. You can type in your guess here on the chat session. What Rush album was I listening to last night when I made the spot charts? You get one guess. All right. What Rush album was I listening to last night when I made the spot charts? This is a new feature we're calling Rush Roulette. What was that? 2112, not 20. Everybody's first guess is 2112. No, it's not 2112. Everybody gets one guess. Joe Johnson from the Herald Sun now disqualified. Sorry about that. Rushing totals, what was that? Chronicles, no, that's the first CD I ever got. Do you know that? That was their greatest hits from the Mercury record dates, Chronicles. But no, that wasn't it. It was a couple songs off Chronicles. 2, in fact. Yes, 2. Yeah, that's a hint. Okay. Peyton Wilson was the leading rusher for Orange in that half. He had 51 yards on 6 carries. Mervante Beasley had 6 carries, 46 yards. Just off. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. Your wife can guess so. You can guess, sir, if you want. Everybody guesses moving pictures second, by the way. Gotta give Joe credit. I've done this also with the soccer team I call for. Nobody ever has guessed Chronicles. So that's to his credit. Mervante Beasley, we mentioned earlier, he needs 203 yards for 1,000. He's at 46 at the half. Jackson Schmidt had 2 carries for 8 yards, and Ryan Puckett had 2 for 5. Puckett also had a touchdown catch for 8 yards. Jackson Schmidt was 5 of 12 for 92 yards in the first half. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Ryan Puckett caught a ball for 8 yards. Leading receiver was Cody Evans, 2 receptions for 31. Kendall Whitted had 1 for 19. Peyton Wilson had 1 for 34, and we mentioned Puckett's touchdown. The interception, by the way, was by Tashawn White of Webb. Trey Harris was 5 of 8. If I'm not mistaken, that's what I heard. Is that the state? Yes, I think that is the case. Is that? I've heard that somewhere. I've read that before. Joe Johnson was asked, is the state record for punt returns in a season 6? And I've read various sources that says it is. And right now, Peyton has 5. Keep in mind, Peyton didn't start returning punts until Labor Day. He started doing it 3 games into the year against Riverside. He returned his first one against Riverside, had 1 against Cummings. He had 2 against Southern Durham, and he had 1 here tonight. Those 2 against the Spartans really broke Southern Durham's back that night, if you'll recall, and really set things up for how things were going to go the rest of the way. There is a score that a lot of people need to be attuned to that doesn't necessarily have to do, isn't the first score you think of in terms of what you should pay attention to, and that is Southern Nash versus Rocky Mount. And right now it's Southern Nash leading the Griffons 7-0. Reason why that may be important, and we're just now learning that the game is now tied going into the 4th quarter at 7. Reason why that's important is because it could affect whether Orange will get a number 1 seed overall for the 3AA state playoffs. It's widely figured that Rocky Mount will be in the 3AA ranks. And right now, they could finish 10-0. Southern Nash is a 3A team, but chances are they'll wind up as a 3A squad, not the 3AA playoffs. It comes back to enrollment, basically. And the final enrollment numbers won't be released by the State High School Athletic Association for a couple of more weeks. So basically, if you're Orange, you're rooting for Southern Nash in that game because the chances are small that they'll wind up as a 3AA team. And if Orange winds up having Rocky Mount lose, then that will help their seeding chances moving on into the playoffs. We're going to have full coverage of the playoffs here. Seeding Saturday is still a few weeks away. Now we learned that Rocky Mount has just taken a 10-7 lead. So that is where that game stands early in the 4th quarter as they kicked a field goal to the Griffons. So that's what's going on. Also know that the New York Rangers are tied with the Carolina Hurricanes at 1. And I see all these things about from various sports here on Twitter, but I don't see anything right now about the World Series. Cubs are tied with the Indians. They've just started the 2nd inning. After that 4-hour and 6-minute extravaganza from the other night. And the Cubs wound up tying it then and there. The Indians and the Cubs now even. And the Hornets are trailing at Miami. Also, we've learned that one too. So, a lot going on here tonight. We're going to pause here for one more timeout before we get going with the second half as you're listening. .com. Stay with us.